Alright, what is this? How would Southwest Asia's development be effective if the Mongols never conquered and ruled these countries? Oh, easy, I'll just look it up on Google. Wait a minute, not Googleable.
It was at this moment he knew. He
The year is 768 BC and the Abbasid dynasty rules the Middle East and Western Asia under the religion Islam. On September 14 of this year, Harun al-Rashid became the 5th caliph of the Abbasid dynasty. Under his rule from 768 to 809, the Arab Empire entered a golden age of trade, medicine, and arts and architecture. For the next 400 years, the Arab Empire enjoys unity under Islam. However, at the same time, the growing Mongol Empire conquered lands further than Central Asia. It was only a matter of time until the Mongols expanded their territories and invaded Southwest Asia, bringing the Arab Empire to an end. What if the Mongols never conquered Southwest Asia? How would Southwest Asia's development have been affected? My name is Andrew Baluda, and you're watching A Walk Through History. To get a better insight into the development of Southwest Asia, I booked a flight to the Arabian Peninsula itself. So I packed my bags, got in the car, and before I knew it, I had arrived in Saudi Arabia. And it just seemed like... No, but actually, especially at my first destination, the city of Mecca. This here is Islam's most important and holy mosque, the Kaaba. Here Muslims from all over the world come to worship Allah, the one all-knowing God. But this one and only God wasn't always the one worshipped. Let me take you way back to the stages of Southwest Asia's development. The Arabian Peninsula during the 8500s was, and still is, mostly desert. Yet it was populated by Arab tribes who settled in oasis towns. Nomadic herders called Bedouins grazed camels, goats, and sheep in seasonal pasture lands, but because of the desert location, Bedouins competed and fought over water and grazing land. On the positive side, they traded with the Arab tribes and protected caravan trading routes. This is where Mecca comes in. Mecca was a busy town at the center of many trade routes and a pilgrimage center where people came to pray to pagan gods and goddesses. Despite all the trade and pilgrims here in Mecca, developments weren't made. The desert of the Arabian Peninsula made traveling difficult and caused warfare among Bedouins. Meccan society was wealthy, but they were greedy. Problems like these were being ignored and Meccan society wasn't making developments. So how did the small trading oasis towns develop into a widespread Muslim empire? To have my questions answered, I met up with local historian, Dr. Have Fun Pronouncing My Name, here in Mecca to talk about how the religion Islam helped unite and develop Southwest Asia into an empire. But because I was too broke to afford a translator, I had to record the whole speech myself, go on Google Translate, and read it for you guys. The religion Islam was spread by a prophet by the name of Muhammad. He was born in Mecca around 8570 and worked as a shepherd who led caravans across the desert. While traveling with the caravans, he met with Christians in other countries that introduced him to God. Muhammad was called upon by an angel to become God's messenger, so he devoted his life to spreading Islam, which means submit to God. Merchants in Mecca threatened to kill Muhammad for going against their idols because they thought it would hurt their trade. So Muhammad, along with other Muslim converts, left, creating a Muslim community. Thousands of Arabs adopted Islam because of his reforms. Muhammad even went back to Mecca, destroyed the pagan idols in the Kaaba, and rededicated it to the one true God. Muhammad created rules that governed and united Muslims, bringing peace among the neighboring clans. Over time, the Islamic system law, called Sharia, was developed. This body of law included interpretations from the Quran, examples from Muhammad's life, and Muslim tradition. Sharia governed the daily lives of Muslims by regulating moral conduct, family life, business practices, government, etc. Before Islam, women's rights varied, but were mostly limited to male dominance. Islam extended women's rights by affirming spiritual equality between males and females and encouraging education for women along with men. After Muhammad's death, Arab leaders refused to listen to Muhammad's successors, but they united back together under Islam and a government monarchy. Under the first 4 caliphs, all the Arab tribes were converted to Islam, uniting them under one leader, helping the Muslims conquer and convert neighboring empires and finally take control of the Middle East. When the Meccan clan took over the caliphate and established the Umayyad Empire, they continued to expand the Muslim empire as well as make advancements, such as analyzing documentation, as well as translation of Islam so that more would be converted. Succeeding the Umayyad Empire, the Abbasid dynasty lasted for 500 years. Under the Abbasid rule, the empire of caliphs reached the most wealth and power. Conversion to Islam was encouraged and Muslims were all treated equally. Under Harun al-Rashid, the 5th caliph of the Abbasid dynasty, the Arab Empire entered a golden age where Southwest Asia made major advancements. By building an international trade network, the Muslim civilization united different cultures. The trade also spread products, technologies, knowledge, and culture. New business practices were established, such as the development of banks, credit, and checks to make trade easier. During the Golden Age, agriculture also flourished in the desert regions, as irrigation projects helped provide a reliable source of water, which was non-existent before Islam. The list can go on and on about all the advancements, from art, literature, and architecture to philosophy, math, and medicine. The main point is that because the Middle East was able to unify under the single religion of Islam, trading and sharing ideas with other countries helped the Middle East develop from small towns to a large empire, expanding further than Southwest Asia. As I mentioned earlier, the religion Islam spread beyond the territories of Southwest Asia into other countries and empires. One of those empires, the Mongol Empire. The roots of the Mongol Empire and the Arab Empire have a lot in common. They both started out as nomadic people who lived in warring tribes and grazed animals. Muhammad united the Arabian peoples and Genghis Khan united the Mongol tribes. After this, both empires sought out to conquer other empires and expand their territories. Where they differ is their set of values. While Muhammad used the religion Islam to unite countries together, Genghis Khan took control by force. When you look at the time frame of each empire expanding, the Arab Empire reached its extent of mainly Southwest Asia and parts of Africa and Europe in about 300 years. On the other hand, the Mongol Empire reached its extent from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe in only about 150 years. So how were the Mongols able to conquer so many countries in such a short time period? The Mongols were a nomadic people who grazed their horses and sheep in Central Asia. In about 12,000 AD, a Mongol chieftain united the warring Mongol tribes and took the name Genghis Khan, which meant universal ruler. He had a fierce reputation and believed that he had divine right to conquer the world. In order for him to conquer the world, his armies had to be disciplined, and he was very strict about training his army. Mongol armies were composed of soldiers on horseback equipped with bows and arrows, giving them an advantage of speed and mobility. But where the Mongols really shined was their battle tactics. While on horseback, the movements of the army were directed by signals and a sophisticated messenger service. The Mongols used spies, propaganda, and usually asked for surrender and peace before attacking. In the case of surrender, the population would be spared and the soldiers would be added to the army. But if they didn't, the population would be slaughtered or become slaves. From 1227 to 1294 AD, the Mongols invaded and conquered Korea, Tibet, Persia, Russia, and Eastern Europe. The Mongols made attempts to invade India, but they were unsuccessful because the Himalayas were too difficult to cross, protecting India from any invaders. The Mongols were led into Southwest Asia in 1216, returning again and again, eventually invading Persia in 1221. Later on in 1258, they destroyed Baghdad and killed the last Abbasid caliph, marking the end of the Arab Empire. They never tried to conquer the Arabian Peninsula because it was essentially a useless desert. However, because of the conquest in Southwest Asia, the Mongols were introduced to Islam, and by the 14th century, all four Mongol empires had converted to Islam. Once the Mongols were established in Southwest Asia, they rebuilt the cities they had destroyed and supported arts and trade. So how would Southwest Asia's development have been affected if the Mongols never conquered those countries? The thing is that Southwest Asia's development was already being affected by multiple factors before the Mongols came in. In fact, Southwest Asia was developing problems such as power being unequally distributed and a series of invasions causing a decline. Seljuk Turks invaded Southwest Asia in the 900s and adopted Islam, keeping the Abbasid Caliph as the figurehead. They built an empire across the Fertile Crescent, which also started developing problems after unsuccessfully losing Asia Minor to the Crusades. Essentially, Southwest Asia would have developed problems that would have caused the Arab Empire to split because of independent dynasties ruling states and the Caliph losing power. I think it's possible that these states ruled by independent dynasties could have adopted other religions such as Christianity, since Islam was no longer uniting them together and because of the results of the Crusades, leaving the Arab Empire in shambles. Southwest Asia developed under two things, trade and religion. Through Muhammad's commitment, Islam spread by conquest, uniting Southwest Asia under Islam. Islam developed Sharia, the Islamic system of law, which not only united Muslims under a common rule but gave women extended rights and protection, as well as spiritual equality between all Muslims. Multiple cultures united under Islam, and by building an international trade network, new ideas helped agriculture thrive, develop a social structure, a money economy, arts and architecture, and so on. After about 400 years, the Arab Empire started developing government problems and invasions from Seljuk Turks instigated the decline of the Arab Empire. During this decline, the once nomadic Mongols unite under the strict and disciplined rule of Genghis Khan. The Mongol Empire builds fast, versatile armies with archers on horseback, and with the battle tactics of Genghis Khan, they are able to conquer lands as far as the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. By learning from conquered peoples, the Mongols learned how to use gunpowder essential for taking down city walls. The Mongols eventually ended the Arab Empire but were heavily impacted by Islam. Because of this, all four Mongol empires converted to Islam and rebuilt the cities in Southwest Asia that they had destroyed. They went on to support arts and trade as the Muslim Empire had done in their golden age. Mongols really only ended the Abbasid rule and were able to make Southwest Asia relevant again by rebuilding the cities and promoting trade. If the Mongols hadn't invaded Southwest Asia, the Arab Empire still would have ended, but instead of being relevant as a whole, Southwest Asia could have divided into separate empires and possibly adopted other religions. What once seemed like the end of the Arab Empire was actually Southwest Asia's redevelopment of power. The Mongols positively affected Southwest Asia by helping spread the religion Islam, reshaping Muslim populations to this day, and making Mecca a worldwide place of worship. My name is Andrew Buluya, and this has been A Walk Through History.